Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Unprofessional Breakdown. And I'm glad and I'm happy and I'm hyped to have my man, the one and only Jon Radford. What's going on, brother?
How we doing, bud, man? How we doing? I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Man, thank you for even wanting to be on my little show. I don't know who watches it, but I want to talk to everybody. I don't care, boxing, MMA, karate. I don't care. I want to talk to everybody.
Oh, this is
Um,
awesome.
so Pete, when I was getting ready for my fight, we fought on the same night, right?
Yep, it
Um,
was awesome.
he was telling me, he was like, "Oh yeah, John, he did martial arts before." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." What was it? Was it Taekwondo?
Yes, WTF style, so Olympic style.
And he told me, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I had no idea. I thought you were a straight boxer. Tell me
No,
about
no,
that.
no, no.
So tell me how, like the beginning, you got into Taekwondo, and how old were you
I was 6 when I first started. It
in
was the first thing
Taekwondo?
yes, it was the first thing I ever did. The first thing I remember was being able to go to the movie gallery, which was a rental store like a Blockbuster, right? And I was able to pick anything in the martial arts section. My dad never cared, so I just grabbed Bruce Lee movies. I grabbed every type of movie possible, right? And I just watched martial arts. And he just put me in down the street to a Taekwondo studio that ended up being the World Taekwondo Federation style, the WTF, the Olympic style.
Yeah.
And I did that for 3 years. My master was Grandmaster KJ Lee, who actually ended up being wrote a book, met the president, Ronald Reagan at the time, and started the Columbia, the nation, their national Taekwondo program.
Oh
If I
wow.
if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he was that, or he's the head of it for a while to help them out and whatnot. But he ended up being a fast forward. I stopped. I got my black belt when I was 10, and I stopped. I wasn't really into the whole sparring thing. And that was old school taekwondo where like you really hit hard. You're really trying to,
Yeah.
shock the body, just like wreck them. And as a kid, I was kind of like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I was really good at like side kicks and forms and stuff like that. But in the dojang, which it wasn't called a dojo, it was called a dojang in Korean. I would spar really well, but any tournament, I was a big baby. I just couldn't hack it. It just didn't work. So all my friends kind of like that were doing it kind of started playing other sports. So around the age of like 10, 11, right after I got my black belt, I kind of started playing basketball.
All right.
So went a long time through, fast forward again, made it all the way through high school, just pretty much playing basketball all the way up to that age. Got a scholarship to play at Flagler College. Flunked out of college my freshman year, thinking I was too cool for school playing basketball. I didn't have to do any work, right? So blah blah blah. Get out of that. Started Taekwondo back at the age of 21 randomly by being at my current boss's wedding. And I met
Oh.
an old Taekwondo buddy that was an older than me that opened up his own Taekwondo studio. So I started doing it. One day I just showed back up, started doing it, met him at this wedding, and I just remembered how fun it was. And then from that point on, I was hooked. And by that time, I started semi watching MMA, UFC, and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, catching on to the whole like, kickboxing and like Dream like was on late at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Pride was going off. I started watching some of that, so I really got into it. And then I wanted to do a tournament, and when I did it, I got the hell beat out of me. Absolutely destroyed. Just made embarrassment. Thought I was really cool, gonna be awesome at it. It was terrible. I think I lost like 18-1.
Oh wow. That
And
was your first tournament.
that was my first time. Yeah, you just got that breaks beat off of me. It was bad. Like it hurt. I never realized how hard somebody could actually kick me until like I was there. And I think I fought this Brazilian kid. He just beat the hell out of me, and it was kind of funny. So I walked away, and I was just like, I want to keep doing this. I want to get better at this. I think I can do this. So fast forward again, I go visit South Korea to visit my old grandmaster. He let me come over to Korea. I lived over there for about 30 days by myself, traveled around, um, fought a couple different scrimmages against colleges with their Taekwondo team. I got to see the national Taekwondo tournament for colleges over there. It was
That's
really
dope.
cool. Yeah, traveled around, did that, came back, and I made a run in the middleweight division and they combined it kind of with heavyweight. I never really fought heavyweight, but I fought welter and middle, so it was kind of two different weight classes. But I always fought up a weight class in Taekwondo because I was tall, long, but I was faster than all of them, usually most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
So I usually fought up a weight category, and I did extremely well. I started getting ranked in the top 10 within 4 years of competing. And I was a legit Olympic hopeful in the sense of for the 2008 Olympic team. I missed out on Olympic team trials in sudden death overtime in 2007 for the 2008 Olympics.
Damn.
So I thought I did pretty well for my short stint in trying to, like make the Olympics and that solid run that I gave myself, like 4 years of just straight hard competing. I was in the best shape of my life. I was, doing all, I ran, I always say it because I'm super proud of it. I ran a 4.5 40 at one point, and I was pretty darn proud of it. I was like, okay, I got
Damn.
that.
That's
Yeah,
hey, that's
I was
NFL
in
stuff
shape.
right there. That's
No,
NFL
no, no,
stuff
no,
right
no, no, no.
there.
But I was in shape. I was in shape.
Yeah.
And I was booking it. Like I was doing good stuff. But yeah, man, I lost at the sudden death overtime. I should have won.
But but the fact that you qualified to even compete, like you qualified for the Olympic qualifiers, that's awesome, dude. That's not an
No, no,
easy
that's
task.
what I missed. That's what I missed out on. I
Okay.
was at the national.
Get
I was
into
at the national
okay.
tournament, and normally they take the top four. So they take first place, second place, and the two thirds.
Okay.
I I lost in sudden death overtime to go to the championship match of the national tournament, and
Yeah.
they were only taking gold and silver to the Olympic team trials.
Oh
I
wow.
lost in sudden death overtime to go to the finals of that match, which I personally thought I won, scored a couple points at the overtime that I thought were clean, but it wasn't. I lost, and that's on me. But I missed out on that. So normally, like I said, they take the top four of each weight category, and you move on to go make the team. They were only
Yeah.
taking the top two. I missed out on it. It is what it is. It was
Hey,
fun.
that's you got pretty close, bro. That's awesome,
I
man.
It's not bad. It
That's a
was
good
fun. Yeah,
accomplishment.
I was
So
happy.
you do the Taekwondo thing, you didn't quite, make it. What led you to boxing?
Okay, so fast forward again. Right after Taekwondo, I got another scholarship to play college basketball. I went and played college basketball, Division II, at Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. It's a HBCU. I was the first white guy to play for him,
Hey,
and
what
swear to
position?
God, what first white guy to
Small
play with him. Played for him for 2 years.
small
Um,
forward?
Shooting guard and small forward. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Good
awesome.
job. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
I was an undersized small forward, but I could extend the range very well, and I was quick off my first step. So I was pretty good until my knees started giving out on me. I have bad knees now.
Ah,
I don't play basketball at all anymore. My knees suck.
not even for fun?
Oh, I shoot around, but I can't move like that, so
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So then right after I was done with basketball, I graduated when I was 31 from college, and I jumped into Taekwondo about 6 months right after that. No, not Taekwondo. I tried to jump back into Taekwondo. The Taekwondo studio that I went to essentially told me I had to take all of the little classes again in order to come in and spar, and I didn't wanna do all that. I just wanted to spar and kinda work, and that is I mean, I get it. I wasn't
Yeah.
upset, but they told me
Yeah.
no. So I went to the jujitsu and MMA studio right around the corner from it, and that's where I found my home, and they actually had a boxing class in there as well, and my first boxing trainer was named Duke, who's really one of my good friends now. We're pretty much my South Carolina family up there that I go. He's part of Modern Warrior now. It started out being Charles Handenbrick. You know who Taylor Starling is from
Nah.
BKFC? Okay, well,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
it's a
okay, yeah, 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 Fight Banana's
modern
always promoting
yeah,
her. Yeah.
her cornerman Duke is my good friend who I started boxing with before I came down here
Oh,
and
that's
met
cool.
Pete.
Oh, that's
So we
dope.
became really good friends. He's still my people's. He's family to me. My boys up there and everything like that. But I met him, and I wanted to be an MMA fighter. I was never going to be an MMA fighter, Lou. I should have known that. I was. Transitioning is terrible. I came down, met Pete, and continued boxing, and then I realized how much I actually fell in love with the art of boxing. And my knees started getting worse. Kicking people and getting kicked just wasn't the
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? And then jujitsu doesn't help, and if I wrestle, they're just going to get blown out again. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I've had three knee surgeries, two ACLs. Not doing it.
Ugh.
So
Oh, that's
boxing
terrible.
was a perfect. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, boxing perfect way to be able to compete and do something that was to me a great striking art, a great competitive staying in shape, but also I can save my knees, believe it or not. It's not bad.
Yeah,
I don't
boxing.
do a lot of road work.
Boxing is my first love was boxing. I did boxing as a
Yes.
teenager. Then my parents couldn't afford it, and my dad was willing to take up another job just to have me go to Kissimmee boxing. And I was like, nah, dad, you don't got to do that. It's all good. So I did boxing for like a year and a half, and then I stopped. And then like 3 4 years later, I'm 18 19, and I do a jiu-jitsu class, and that's history. I'm about to be 33 now. But boxing was my first, man. I loved boxing growing up. We're Puerto Ricans, and I always tell the story, we're Puerto
Oh
Ricans,
yeah.
but we love Julio Cesar Chavez. That's my number one guy. And then Trinidad, and then Pernell Whitaker and Roy Jones and Riddick Bowes and all those guys.
How,
Riddick Bowes from
well,
Brooklyn. But
how are
yeah.
you not saying Miguel Cotto? How are you not saying Miguel
So
Cotto?
that's early. That's in the '90s, right?
Yeah.
So in the '90s,
Is
those were
that
my guys growing up.
okay?
And then Miguel Cotto and Zab Judah before Miguel Cotto was his. When he was starting off, he was interesting to watch, and Costa Zoo as well. So Miguel Cotto, man, just a legend. But man, you came down, you met Pete White, and now you're a 1-0 pro. How do you feel, man? July 24th was a big night for us, but it's not about me, it's about you. 1-0 pro. How long did it take for you to go pro?
So if 8 years maybe, 7 8 years, 7.5, something like that. I don't know,
So
7 8
what
years.
so what made July 24th the day, I guess they gave you that date and you said, "You know what? It's time. It's time for me, Jon Radford, to make my debut." What was going through your mind? Like what made that happen?
Pete.
Pete?
I mean, one day I was sparring a guy in the gym. He came in. We weren't sparring super hard, but he was a pro, and apparently, apparently he came in, and I didn't know he was coming in. He just came in, and Pete knew. I didn't know. I guess we just didn't communicate that night, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "All right, I'll give you some rounds. There's nobody else here. I'll give you some rounds." And I went 4 rounds with him. Pretty tired, but was thought I did really well against him. Like I said, we weren't cracking each other hard or nothing like that, but
Yeah.
I was doing my thing. And like I said, he was 3-0, weight categories real similar. I think at the time I was weighing probably maybe 10 pounds more than him, but he fought at 168 and 160, so it was about my weight category.
Yeah.
And I did well. And Pete one day, out of nowhere, I'm leaving the gym. I forgot there's a camera in there that Pete can see the ring,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sparring and all that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
forgot. I was just like, he texted me and goes, "I think it's time for a pro debut after a little session like that." I was like, "What? Tell me who sent you footage? What the what?" He goes, "I
Yeah, what's
got."
going on?
That's what I did. I was like, "What? Are you in my head right now? What was going on?" And he goes, "Oh, watch it on the camera." I was like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." I was like, "All right, yeah, well, okay, we'll talk about it. We'll see." And then he said, "Let's do it." And I was like, "All right,
So that
let's
was
let's
this
do it."
year. That was earlier
Yes.
this year, or oh wow.
It was at the end of it was at the end of the very, very, very end of last year. Like the very, very end of 2020, yeah, of 2020. And then we talked about it, and then we were talking about it going like being a little bit sooner. And then all of a sudden he's like, "No, let's be at this date." I said, "Okay, that works." I go, "Let's go ahead and do it." Then I'm out of school. I don't have any, I don't, I'm out, done for the summer. I can train, all that good stuff. And that just, it worked out really well.
Man.
It was perfect. And then it worked out even better that you were on the card because, dude, you were phenomenal that night. Like, you were ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
that was
thank
nastiness.
you.
That was amazing.
Hey, we all performed well, man, and we trained very, very hard for that. Um, yeah, we trained very hard, and I'm just like I always wanted to be a pro fighter ever since I was young. I was like, I'm gonna box. I'm gonna box. I'm gonna be a pro boxer. And then UFC came along, and then the Ultimate Fighter came along, and then I kind of transitioned, and everybody looked at me and laughed, because I'm little. I'm a little guy, and then I'm like, I was always used to like fight and stuff like that, and I just knew that I was gonna be a fighter. It was a dream come true. My first my pro debut didn't go. I feel like I rushed it. I actually felt like this one was my pro debut because I just prepared. prepared right. God bless Dark Wolf and Dave Lozen, and God bless Pete White. He just made me believe in my hands. And I'm grateful for that. Meeting you, meeting your cousin Dylan, who's a savage. My God, you guys
Is he
just
not? He's not.
bro.
He's
Jesus
nasty.
Christ.
He's nasty.
I can't wait to see him fight. Like I told him, like Dylan, I can't wait to see you fight. Like I need to see you fight, and I feel sorry for whoever the hell you fight, man.
Right, right.
Um,
He's brutal.
so Undisputed Promotion, July 24th. Man, you were so chill in the back. I was nervous. I get
Uh,
nervous every fight. Like I look like I'm chilling, but I'm pacing back and forth. I'm like talking to myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna get humiliated again in front of my family. This is not. I'm gonna win this fight. I was just pacing, and then I'm looking at you, right? And then I'm looking at like AJ, the Dark Wolf, the other teammate from Dark Wolf, and he's hyped as hell. It's his first fight,
he
amateur,
was so energized. He was so
and
energized.
and you were chilling, and I'm like, man, what the hell? Like, and I'm like nervous trying to hide it from all you guys. But I know you guys, you know, as fighters, man, we get just like what Tyson said in his documentary. We're nervous, we're nervous, we're nervous. As the fight gets closer, we get nervous. As we're walking to the cage, it's like nervousness. And then I stomp into the cage. Once I stomp into the cage, the same thing with jiu-jitsu. I get on the mats, my nerves go away. I zone out. Like I hear vroom, my ears are muffled and I'm just focused, man. How do you feel like walking to the cage? Like what's going through your mind? I mean, walking to the ring, sorry. What's going through your mind when you was walking to the ring?
So I agree with everything you just said, and what you quoted Tyson on is pretty much spot on for most cases, right? Like
Yeah.
I would say that happened to me every single time, except for I didn't quite get over it until the first punch was thrown.
Okay.
And
Fair
then
enough.
I get in my head, in my head more about not not being scared of my opponent, but being scared of like succeeding and letting my abilities go. You know what I mean? Letting
Yeah.
it all out. I usually would My fights were very boring a lot of times. I'm not gonna lie. Like my boxing matches were very, very slow and technical, and I didn't throw a lot
Technical.
of punches.
That's
Yeah,
not
but
boring at all.
no, no, no. In a sense, when I say boring, is like I should have let my hands go a lot more. I had ample opportunity to let them go in a safe manner, to not receive anything back, and I wouldn't pull the trigger. That's what I essentially mean by there's a lot more opportunities for
Yeah.
me to throw offensively, and I'm just only throwing one. You know what I mean? Things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So this was the first time I credit Chris Mixon for this whole mindset that I had through the whole day. Once I
Another
saw
savage.
him, yeah. Oh, dude, it's brutal. It's brutal. Sparring sessions are brutal with him, bro.
I
Brutal.
saw you guys on Saturday.
I took a night off from him. I let everybody else get in there with him. I take a night off sometimes. It's like, I'm getting older. I'm getting older. I don't need all that all the time. Um, for real. And
I feel you.
he he put me in the like as soon as I as soon as we started talking, I kind of just he said a couple things to me during the week, and then he reiterated it to me that day when I saw him, and then from there it was like autopilot. I was good. I knew I was like I'm going. It's over. Like when I get in there, done. I got this. It's over. Like, and I've never been quite like just mentally perfect walking and like being there the whole entire. Everything just came together. It was just like
Yeah.
this is what it's
I
supposed to be.
I felt that same way. The first time I fought, I think this was my 11th or 12th fight, and I felt so as physically prepared, right? My wife would agree. She's my producer. I looked great. I was in the best shape of my life, right? She liked it. I had little abs for the first time in my fucking career, right? But mentally, like I was just zoned out. Like I was just zoned out, man. And I feel you on that. And Chris Mixon is a savage, savage. That guy's an animal, man. But
Yes.
I saw your fight, man, and Austin Vasquez. Shout out to him. Great, great, great,
Great guy.
great, great,
Great guy.
great guy. Nice
Great
guy.
guy.
Your style. And today, actually, I was doing kickboxing with Christian, and he taught something that you taught him. It was when somebody's trying to ambush you, you step back, hook, and get out the way, and then a straight right, or a straight left in his case. And I was like, that is something John would do. That is something John would do, And I saw you move around and sparring on Saturday too, other than just watching your fight. And man, your style is so different than than Pete, and the way that you teach as well, right? I took one of your classes. The way that you teach and the way Pete teaches is so awesome, so different. And it's to me it's crazy because Pete taught you a lot of things, right?
Pretty much most of my knowledge, like, I would say 80% of it or more has come from, Pete for a lot of cases. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you take what Pete taught you and you add your own little John flavor to it, and I love that. That's so awesome. The hula hoop thing that I don't know if you remember, but you taught me a hula hoop thing, going in and doing a 3 punch combo and then stepping out. That stuck to me. I feel like most of the stuff that you say stick to me. Like I'll never forget. And I'm gonna tell the story real quick. I told you via text last time. Um, we were talking about how we feel more nervous when our teammates fight than us getting in there, and you broke it down
100%.
to me. Can you tell me again? Like tell me again why? And it just clicked the way you told me. Why we get more nervous when our friends fight than when we get in there and fight.
First and foremost, we're good teammates and coaches or cornermen, right? So one, we care. So right
Yeah.
off the bat, we care. We have an ample connection to that person. It's not just a job. It's not just that we care. We're
Yeah.
good cornermen that way, and we're good teammates and coaches. So one, that we care. But the next thing is, you're a fighter. I fought. Most of the people that do this fought before. You
Mhm.
have some sense of, you want control. We want personalized control. I used to be a team player. We want personalized control. I loved the one-on-one sports once I came from a college atmosphere of being a team player. I never had to worry about anybody else. If I had a great game and we lost by 20, I'm just like, well, shit, bro. I balled out. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth, right? You know what I mean? People are thinking that, and you're like,
Yeah.
I saw your ass complain, Now I'm sitting there
Yeah.
going, I have instinct. That is all of a sudden, with all the work you put in, is snatched away from you, and you have to watch it. You have no control no more. You can't do anything. And the person that's walking in there, the dangers that are going on. You know what they're getting into, and you care, and you don't want to see that person hurt. So you have no control. And I get way, 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 way more nervous. But
Man,
you gotta be like this. You gotta be like Pete. Pete's a stone
stone
cold
cold.
in a corner, stone cold, just
Stone cold. Chilling.
stone cold, like boom. And you gotta be that way though. You gotta be
Yeah.
animated when you need to be animated. You gotta be concerned when you're concerned. But before the fight, you're stone cold killer. It's just, if the dude needs to be a laughter type of guy, you need to laugh with him. You know what I mean? You need to be whatever makes the dude relax. Other than that, you can't show anything for you. You got to keep that shit on the inside. Like, you can't
Yeah.
show any nervousness. None at all. You're the rock. So it sucks. It's hard.
I know, man.
I sweat. I sweat so much. I sweat so much.
When Taylor
Terrible.
and Naomi were getting prepared, and I'm like, oh man, Taylor's there, giddy, like she can't wait, like she loves violence, and I'm like, what is wrong with these people, bro? I'm like nervous as hell before I go fight, and she's like giddy, giddy. I know she's nervous, but she's giddy, and then Naomi's like, don't bother her, don't talk to her. She's in her own zone. It was like two different dynamics, and
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to keep it together. And I'm just like, letting them do the thing. I go and, I talk to Taylor, all these people yapping, yapping, yapping. This is what you train for. Last year sucked, blah, 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 blah. And then Naomi, just leave her, let her be. That's just, but ever since you told me that, control. I've told this story to like six other people's, man. I'm like, yo, my man John, I know why I get more nervous. This is why my man John told me. Control. We don't have control. We they go in there and we're not going in there. When we go in there, we have control. And you put it together, and that will always stick with me, brother. So
That's
thank
the
you for
reason.
that, man. That's
No
that's
problem.
that's
No problem.
pretty
That's
awesome,
awesome.
man. Real quick before I let you go, I have to mention this. You're a teacher.
Yes, I teach ninth to 12th grade mathematics. I teach algebra 1, A and B, geometry, algebra 2, and consumer mathematics.
Do you feel like your coaching experience makes it easier for you to be a teacher, like a math teacher, especially for high school kids that can be.
Yes and no. I find that it helps me, and that I find new ways to motivate, which is good, but
Yes.
it does not help me in the sense of patience. And it's weird I say that, because I have extreme patience in both of them for the most part. But when it comes to the combat sports, you have to show me effort. And as soon as you stop showing me effort, I kind of just fade away from you, because
Yeah.
it's such a disciplined sport that I don't have enough time to waste with someone that doesn't want to put effort in. But in school, I can't be that way. In school, I have to try to motivate on a constant basis and get them as much attention as I can. But at the same time, I can't also care more than they care. They have to care at the same time, right? But
Absolutely.
I have to be a little bit more on top of them to get them motivated to care than I would be in the coaching realm of this sport, right?
Yeah.
So it balances itself out. But I actually, most of my knowledge from being a teacher came from my father who taught for half a century.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so and he actually worked with me for 2 years of my teaching when I was at this school where I've been, and he retired. So I got to teach with him, so it was really
Oh,
great.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. But he taught me a lot of it, and mostly what he's taught me, and then my own self reflection, saying that, dude, you're a terrible teacher. You need to straighten up and be a better one. And I've done. I can honestly say, and if you ask my boss, I've done 180-degree turns since after the first 3 years I was teaching. Now I'm on to my seventh, so I'm a
That's
lot better.
amazing.
I'm a lot better.
And I tell you, like my own experience, I did enough just to graduate high school, but also I was the only one in my family to graduate high school and walk
Oh,
across the stage, right? And lots,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Lots of that is, thanking my wife, who's my high school sweetheart.
That's
She
awesome.
motivated me too, because I'm like, damn, she's smart as hell, and she's graduating. Then I see my friends graduate. I'm like, yeah, I got to get my stuff together. And every lunch I was with my guidance counselor, and I was like, all right, what do I got to do to get this credit? To make up for this credit. And I had multiple teachers motivate me. One being Miss Letters. She's a good friend of mine now, and one called Mr. Mouche. They didn't give up on me. From
That's awesome.
students that were like me to teachers that are like you, we appreciate you, man. You are
Oh,
making a change. Whether you see
thank
it
you.
or not, you are making a change because those two teachers made a change in my life. They
Oh,
made
that's
me a
great.
better
And
person.
they will always remember you. Don't you forget that. They will
Oh
remember
yeah.
you. They
Oh,
will
absolutely. They
always.
they do.
You
They
you
do.
you touch them as much as they touched you. I know that because I have a few kids that way that I'm super proud of that I got to help them change their life. So that's been it's a mutual thing.
Thank you, man. Hey, we went over, but that's because you're an awesome person and I love talking to you and you're
Oh,
full
you're
of
a great
wisdom.
dude.
You're a sagacious dude, man. But John, where can we find you? I see you put your Instagram handler there. I'm gonna put it across
uh,
the screen here.
yeah, at the Professor 3D, I guess that's underscore is what it is for
Yep.
Instagram. But yeah, other than that, come see me at Pete White Boxing and let's get some work in, man.
And also a Dark Wolf on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I'm there.
You're
Dark
at
Wolf
Dark
Ones,
Wolf
come see
there.
it. The Volusia Combat Syndicate, baby.
Let's get it, man. And I'm proud to be a
Yeah,
part of that. I'm proud to be a
hell
part of
yeah.
that. Jon Radford, thank you so much for me taking up some of your time. I hope you
Oh
weren't
no,
grading
thank you,
papers.
man. This
I
is
hope
great.
you weren't grading papers, man. But thank you so much, John.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. You take
You have a
care, bro.
great one.
Peace.